Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show. Welcome to a playoff edition. That's right, playoff edition of the Cafecito and Cane show. I am joined by my esteemed guest. Let me bring him on right now. Let me not waste any time. Ayo, can you hear me, sir?
Loud and clear. You know what? I love the intro. Playoff Cafecito.
Yes, playoff edition of Cafecito and Canes. Round one. And I specify this is just round one because there's going to be others.
Correct.
I expect to win this game. All right, I'm confident. So, Ayo, before we dive in, how are you doing tonight, sir?
Once you invited me, I felt like I had to set up the mood for this. So, one, I feel like the stars are aligning, right? ESPN 30 for 30. Guess which one's on right now?
Part one?
Correct, Mundo. And then I had a steak, and you can never go wrong with a little Canes and steak for dinner time. I felt like it was just a very calming effect. And then now playoff talk. I love it, bro. How's your night going?
It's going fantastic. Looking forward to diving into this little preview about our opponent, Texas A&M, who we've become kind of familiar with over the last couple of years. We played them in 2022, 2023, and now we go right back to College Station again in 2025. It's funny. I don't know if did this cross your mind that this kind of feels like a full circle moment for Mario, because I believe it was like his second or third game as the Canes head coach. We started off, I remember we opened against Bethune that season. I want to say we played Southern Miss week 2, and then we went up to College Station week 3 against Texas A&M. Very competitive game. It was like shot ourselves in the foot, missed some opportunities. It's almost like three years later, it was like, hey, I'm back and I have reinforcements. I got some talent. I have an actual squad this time. I don't know if that crossed your mind that, hey, this is kind of revisiting an old foe.
It was very serendipitous. Like, I kind of thought about this last week, was like, it started with A&M, right? Like, how many times were we talking before that A&M game of like SEC just, we don't even tune in. You know what I mean? Like, we went through things of like LSE recycled jerseys. You know what I mean? Like, oh, look at this is biodegradable from the ocean. And then we just get spanked in that kind of game. And then we pull out a turnover chain against Bama down 75 points. It just felt like we were never on that level, right? We had the heartbreaker against Florida. It just never lined up right against any of the SEC games. But this one felt different, right? Like you said, they were putting up a fight. You had TVD basically saying, hey, I'm wanting to transfer at the end of the season. I'm just going to go ahead and kind of show everybody what I can't do anymore, and that's read a defense. It, like you said, we started off those 2 games hot, and we were kind of feeling ourselves going into College Station. But like Mario kept saying, like up to that point, like, hey, like we're trying to build something here. Like, let's not get too far ahead of ourselves. I think we were at the time just like, oh no, look it, we won some games with Manny, and you're better than Manny. You should be able to do wonders with this, right? But College Station, you had some of his new guys in there. They played different, but like you said, now we're back, and now it's his culture. We haven't lost to a SEC school since we beat them at Miami. It just feels a lot different. Like, we're going into this game not off of fluky confidence, but like you mentioned, we feel like we can win the game. Not bulletin board material, like we're just saying shit just to say it. It's, we can legitimately just walk in your house and take over.
I absolutely agree. And Kermit, what's up? John and Ant, let's go Canes. I looked at the spread, and first of all, I was still on a high that we had just gotten in, right? And we found out pretty much immediately that our opponent was going to be Texas A&M on the road. I wasn't even thinking about that like in the moment. I was just happy we got in, and then I was like, all right, we got A&M week 1 or round 1. It's going to be tough. It's going to be a battle, but I think we could pull that one off. Expecting, okay, we're probably going to go in as slight underdogs, 3.5 point underdogs, which means for those of you who are not gamblers, degenerates like myself, they give 3 points typically. The general rule is they give 3 points to the home team. So what they really think is these 2 squads going head to head on a neutral field are basically even. Yeah. Did that surprise you when that came out?
A little bit because of the hype that A&M got at the beginning of the year. Like, I think as I've kind of watched from afar, it does definitely seem like over the last like month and a half that like Miami was definitely, after they said you need to be the eye test, whatever the hell that meant, it made Miami start rising his stock, right? Like that's how we got into the playoff, is our stock was rising. A&M, I felt like, was kind of doing the other effect where it was kind of coming down. Like you had nail biters, then all of a sudden everybody's talking about Alabama again and Georgia's dominance again, even sneaking Ole Miss in there and having even almost having Texas back in the conversation, right? You felt like A&M has been forgotten about again. You know what I mean? Like I feel like they're sneaky, but it's not the beginning of the year. It's playoff where there is no surprises anymore. Everybody has your tape, a lot of tape, and I don't know. I feel like A&M is starting to show that they have not really fully adapted to Elko's personality. Like they've given a lot of bulletin board material. I think that's been my biggest surprise over the last week is how much bulletin board, even today, more bulletin board material you're giving to Miami to have a chip on their shoulder as they walk in your house. Like you're feeling yourself a little much for not doing shit yet. You know what I mean? Like if we were playing Georgia, I understand that confidence, but at the end of the day, you're still fucking A&M. Like you're still the second to third most talked about team in your own state. You know what I mean? Like I don't know, I feel like they really are feeling themselves at this moment. Kind of odd.
Yeah. And look, after an 11-1 season and you're at home, I'd be confident as well. I was a little surprised that, they're a little mouthy for sure.
Right.
Because immediately I thought the same thing. Like, ooh, Elko's not going to like that. That's the first thing I thought.
Right.
Yeah.
But then he comes out with the small thing. Like, but then he added flame to the fire, like by calling the biggest threat that's going to be to your defense small. Like to me, it just was really, it's really odd how A&M has really kind of showed their colors. Like I just felt like teams who have been there and are expecting, like you said, to walk in and be confident, they don't need to say anything about their opponent. You haven't heard anybody else in the playoff kind of going at their opponent, even with, Oregon going after, JMU, like, or James Madison, right? Like they're not sitting there saying, oh, like, look, like we're gonna stop you guys out. We're not worried about them. You know what I mean? Like James Madison, on the other hand, has been making Twitter hilarious by saying, good luck to the Ducks. They've never been here before. You know what I mean? Like little things like that. Like, but if you've been there and you, like you said at the very beginning of the show, like you're expecting to go to the next round, you don't need to give anybody any distractions for your team. I feel like they're just kind of, I don't know. It's been very odd watching A&M. Like, it's definitely not what I thought they were. I thought they were a little bit more polished at this point.
Yeah, I was surprised by that too. And going through their schedule, Kermit put it up here that the Aggies have played the bottom 7 dwellers in the SEC. Yeah, they played the bottom half of the SEC. Looked really good in some weeks, but not so good in other weeks. That's the thing with playing like in, a quote unquote weaker schedule. Weaker is relative here, but like a weaker schedule, you're expected to dominate each week. I mean, they let Arkansas hang 42 on them. I'm looking at it right here. They were in a bit of a dogfight against Florida at home and ended up pulling away. If you actually watched our game against Florida, that was not a dogfight.
No.
It really, I mean, even though the score might have been close, you knew they didn't have a chance.
Correct.
Because they could not put a drive together against our defense. And then once we started breaking through and actually, we got a score to kind of ice it and then just pulled away after that, you knew it was over. Like from the opening kickoff, from the opening possession, pretty much. Missouri, man, that's a pretty good, that's an impressive win. South Carolina, they were getting their butts handed to them for an entire half.
Was that the below 30 points or something like that, where they were down by more than triple score, right?
They were down 30-3 at the half.
Right.
Against a very bad South Carolina team at home.
Yeah.
And then they, beat Samford after that and then lose and looked weak, dare I say, against Texas. I mean, Texas looked like the better team the entire 4 quarters, in my opinion.
Right.
Once Arch Manning started completing some passes, then it was over. But like they look like the better team, even with Manning like not being able to complete passes. The whole offense in the first half was him running, scrambling for first downs on 3rd and long. That was their entire offense. And
Right.
I still feel like they dominated that game. So I'm with you, man. As great of a team as I think they are, they've been trending downwards.
Right. But
At the end of the season.
do you think that's a testament to, because how long has Elko been there? 3 years? This is year 3, right? Or
This is
year
year
2?
I think it's
2,
2.
right? So now let's go back to like when Jimbo was there, right? Highest paid recruiting class that year, bust, right? Guys left, transferred out. A lot of guys stayed. Second year, put up a lot of money to get Elko some toys. They do decent, but it's still this trend of like these aren't all his guys. They had a weak schedule, but they were still allowing teams in, right? So I mean, it feels like a cardiac canes type effect, right? Where are you really the team that you think you are, or are you just a bunch of mercenaries for hire at this point? Like, what is the Aggie culture, right? Like, we've been watching ours being built year after year after year after year, right? Like, our team is no longer just saying the kind of what coach speak that Mario says, or that they've been practicing to say. Now, when they say it, they mean it. You know what I mean? When CC says, like, we're going out, we're doing this is how we handle ourselves, you believe it because he's saying it and he believes it, right? Like, I just feel like watching these guys in their press conferences, body language tells you a lot, and to me, if you're trying to, I guess, minimize what your opponent is, you're going to also take that same approach going into your practice. You're going to take that going into your preparation. Those little things are going to add up, and that's a domino effect, bro. Like, I feel like how you do the little things is how you do everything. And if you're kind of downgrading your opponent at this point of the season, like you said, you just got kind of washed by Texas. You would think you would have a chip on your shoulder and you respect your opponent. And yep, we're coming out here on all pistons are firing. No, we're good. Miami is not really a challenge. That's fine. We don't really see anybody. I haven't watched the tape on them. No. It just feels like you're in playoff. You've had plenty of time, even before the college playoff. Like, you knew you were probably going to be seated in that range, and you didn't do your homework on nobody. Like us, Notre Dame, BYU. You didn't pay attention to nobody in that range. Like, I was like, you and Flo were probably watching everybody's film about who could be a potential matchup with Miami, right? Only going to be certain teams, but I don't know. I'm very surprised on their preparation. Like, very, very surprised.
Yeah. And at the same time, we're not giving any bulletin board material. We're very, like, the way the guys speak when they're interviewed, they very much embody their coach. It's like, basically saying a lot of things without saying anything, pretty much.
Exactly. Like, I'm giving you nothing, but you have no idea the inferno going on inside of me right now. Well, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like it's like that. Like, it's the very calm, like Tyson in his prime swinging in front of you. Like, you're sitting there barking at Tyson. He's just sitting there staring at you like you have no idea what's going to happen when that bell rings. You have zero idea.
Is there, I'm sure you've done a little homework on the team already. Is there anything, I'll ask, it's a 2-parter. Anything that you think we can exploit specifically, or anything that maybe makes you a little nervous that we got to be on the lookout for?
Yeah, I feel like we have bad tape too. I mean, we have to be honest with ourselves. Like, as much as our offenses look better, it still has a lot of flaws in my mind. Where if you don't know your identity by week 7, then you start kind of like pushing these envelopes of here's some tricky plays. Is that really what we are, or are you going to go back to a gap? You know what I mean? Like, what are you going to do now that you're here, right? To me, it's going to be this is going to be a calling card of if Dawson's really looking at other places, this is going to be the game that makes you stand out. This is going to get you that type of role, not what you did against Stanford. No one cares. It's what you do in the primetime game with the nation watching, with pressure on you. What is our offense going to really be? Is it going to have to go through Tony, or can we utilize all of our weapons, especially as guys are borderline hitting that portal, borderline stay, go, money going up, money coming down? This is going to really tell you who the Miami Hurricanes really are right now. Is our offense needs to gel. Like, we need to take everything out of the equation other than get and put the hammer down on the gas pedal and do not let up. Like, exactly. Like, we have to be able to just be full throttle for 4 quarters and really see what this offense is. I think we can expose that D line, but you have to get away from their bane. You know what I mean? Like, I forgot dude's name, but he's solid. Like,
Cassius Powell.
Right. We just can't run. We can't just be like, oh, we're going to show our might and just keep running at him and expect that wear and tear is going to happen. You know what I mean? Like, these are young machines. You know what I mean? Like, they're going to go 4 quarters. Adrenaline is going to pump. You got to be able to get out and around and make people think. And that's going to be the calling card for Dawson, is get them moving around, not sure where to go. And like you said, make them, if Manning can get them lost, we should be able to get them lost with back. You know what I mean? Get these receivers open, make them question where they're going, make them question their assignment. You know what I mean? Not just pin back and come after back over and over and over again.
Yeah. And this was a stat I looked up on Sunday, and it kind of surprised me. Texas A&M only has 3 interceptions this season. And I think they're 118th in the country in takeaways total. They don't take the ball away much. What they do really, really well is get after the quarterback, specifically on 3rd down. Their sack percentage overall on dropbacks is number 1 in the country. They get sacks on 10% of dropbacks, which is stupid. That's very, very high. And everybody talks about their 3rd down packages. So I guess a lot of it happens there. At least that's what I've seen, in the tape I've seen so far. Simple solution to that is stay out of 3rd and long.
Right. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, which I'm hoping, because here's the thing. Mario's offense, his philosophy, which he was really leaning on early in the season, first 5 games, which, worked. Obviously, we were 5-0. I think that works better. And I think I heard Steve Kim talk about this specifically because he's been a big proponent of, make the offense faster, get more possessions in the game, which I 100% agree with, especially against an inferior opponent. But this is an inferior opponent. This is a more evenly matched. I would call this a very evenly matched opponent talent-wise, like dead even. On the road, maybe that Mario style, maybe not going A-gap every play and bunch formation every play, but like that style, maybe that works better against a team like that. You're moving the chains. Every time you move the chains, you quiet the crowd a little more. You are kind of keeping the game close that way. I wish we just go for the jugular in the first quarter because I think we're capable of it. But it makes me a little nervous that Mario may lean back on that just because of the opponent, because it is effective against a squad like that because you're limiting their possessions as well.
Right.
So
it makes that, like you said, it makes that turnover huge. You know what I mean? Yeah. It makes that stop huge. You know what I mean? And I feel like the only problem with us doing that is I feel like that's when you're pushing the game into Louisville Beck's hand versus calm, cool, collected. I'm now going into, more of, I wouldn't say Stanford, but like more of like that Pittsburgh Beck. That's who you want to see. Is you want to see Pittsburgh Beck, where he's just cool, calm, collected. Hey, I know what down we're going to do. There's no hissy fit going on. If something minute happens, like an offensive lineman call, I'm not throwing a fit on the national television like I did in the SMU game. I'm not letting the pressure of the game hit me like Louisville. That's the only problem I see with going really slow tempo is you put back in that position of maybe I should be the rock star. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want that back. I'd rather see the fast offense where, okay, if I can't get this touchdown right now, I'll be right back out here.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, we got plenty of chances to make this right. You know what I mean? Like, I like what I like where your head's at for. Like, I feel like there's so high risk of going slow. It doesn't help Miami out.
Mm-hmm. I'd like to believe that that's not that they learn from that, and that's not going to happen. Because switching up the offense and kind of listening to what the fans have been saying and what we've been saying on our shows, it's what got you into the playoffs, dude.
Yeah.
And I'm sure Mario will be the first to admit that, because starting with the Syracuse game, that's when all that began.
Yeah.
It started with a trick play here, a trick play there. Before we knew it, we're going real aggressive.
It's a whole new offense.
Whole new offense, whole new identity.
New guys in there.
And I mean, there's packages where literally it's Beck and a bunch of true freshmen on the outside at running back, at tight end, at receiver. I mean, very un-Mario-like, and it worked.
Yeah.
I really hope they keep doing what's been working and just keep doing that, because you're not abandoning the running game either. It's still there.
Right.
You still got Pringle. Fletcher's healthy now. You got Brown. Who do you think on our side, obviously, aside from Carson Beck, which is the obvious, who on our side on offense do you think is going to be like the biggest key for this game? Maybe he's going to have a big breakout game. Maybe he's a guy that we don't expect to make a few huge clutch catches. Like, who are you looking at on offense?
You know, the easy low-hanging fruit to me is Lofton, right? Because everything to me is always going to keep going through that tight end, because it's been so inconsistent over the games. But if I really had to break this down, honestly, I feel like it's got to be JoJo. Is everybody's kind of, looked past him and focused more on Daniels, looked more over to Marion, and looked over to Tony and said, you know what, these are the core guys. You're over here and and I feel like it's guys like him who have to take advantage of those snaps when they're in to become a hazard, where they're probably not watching your film very much. They probably seen you catch a couple balls and be like, all right, well, whatever. But in this kind of game, those kind of guys are the ones that make or break, where they take your first guy out. These DCs are being paid millions and millions of dollars to take out your option A, B, and C. If you don't have a solid D, E, and F, that's where you run into problems. You have to be able to keep that playbook open and fluid by, like you said earlier, having true freshmen out where no one has film on these guys. No one knows what they're going to do. When they come out, you're like, they're looking over the sideline like, what the hell you want us to do? All the numbers you told us to look out for ain't here. What now? And then the ball snapped, and they're now running around, right? Their instinct is taken away. And I feel like that guy has all the potential in the world and can literally be a difference maker. And I feel like that's who I need to see make big plays. Take that top off the defense for the first time. And if they can take the top off and get that stream going with, Lofton in the middle, or get some shots into the middle with the tight ends, your whole offense is wide open. Like you said about the run game, it's more potent because they're not having to take 30 rushes for 100 yards. They're taking maybe 15 for 100 because them DBs and linebackers are backing up versus trying to stack that box up.
Mm-hmm. You actually stole mine. I was going to say JoJo too.
All right.
If he like really wakes up and has like 5 catches for 87 yards and a touchdown, like, oh my God. Because they're like you said exactly what I was thinking. They're not expecting him to do that.
Right.
But is he capable of that? He's capable of 8 catches for $150.
Correct.
We know what he's capable of.
Yeah.
It's just it's mental with him. It's catching the ball consistently. That's his only issue. Route running, phenomenal. Getting open, great. It's just the hands.
Staying in the game. And staying in the game. Like, This will be, if I'm not mistaken, this will be one of the first games that he's going to be able to get into that the weather's perfect. You have everything's on the line. There is no, well, I guess we lost already. We're kind of out. All that mental stuff from the previous season, it's a whole new season. I don't know if you remember when we were on during the season, I told you there was 3 seasons within one. It was like the
Trimesters, right?
trimesters. Right. It
Yes.
was terrible. It was a terrible analogy, but look at you remembered it.
Yeah.
And that's the only part that I needed. It was people to remember that. It was state champs and then conference play and then playoff. What you did in the other two does not matter. It is over with. It's like what we talk about with 5-star recruits. Once you hit campus, don't want to hear it again. Don't care. Same thing for the season. No one cares. The only thing that's going to matter is what you do in these playoffs. And that, say this, how much JoJo is revitalized. If he comes out in the playoffs, Miami does win 2 games, right? 3 games. And let's say he outperforms another receiver that's up in Ohio State. That's had all the accolades. He's been getting compared to him since high school, and he outperforms him in the playoffs. How much do you think people are going to point at that in the offseason? You know what I mean? Like, that's what everybody's going to remember. You know what I mean? Like, this is his time to shine, and he's got to be able to stay in that kind of game, because if he wants to be in that realm with that guy, then he has to stay focused in every single play to get to that point. It's not about the one catch. It's about, like you said, being involved in every snap that you're in, making the most of it, and being the value that you really are each and every play.
Right. Yeah. Any extra help that you can get outside of Tony, CJ, and Marion, I mean, is gonna it could turn a close game into like 31-14,
Right.
Yeah. On the other side, KJ Concepcion scares the hell out of me.
Right.
You're Craver, he's dangerous too. You're Corey Heatherman. How are you stopping those guys? How are you defending them? Are you just kind of running the defense the way you've run it all season, or are you paying extra special attention to them? How do you approach it?
I think you're going to end up taking a little bit of that playbook from the NC State game, like where, yeah, you're putting pressure up, right? But I want this quarterback to also know I'm coming smartly, right? Pause. But I need him to know that, like, we're not going to just run right past you. Because that's what was kind of happening in that Florida game. Like, we were getting to Lagway, and then all of a sudden, like, Lagway would be able to kind of move around and was getting kind of those little bit further passes, able to extend the drives. But it was like our guys are right there, and all they would be able to do is get a hand on them because they were running right past them, and their momentum would take them further than the quarterback, right? I think we kind of learned our lesson with that NC State game, where it was more about that smart rush, right? I can get right here, and now you have nowhere to go. That pressure's up, and now you're making really weird throws. I feel like you have to put him in a CJ Bailey type feel for that QB, where I don't have to touch you for you to know that the pressure's right here and you're about to get hit. Like, I think that first play of that NC State game where you get a sack on the first play and you feel the first hit and be like, oh, shit, my alignment cannot hold you, can they? It makes him now, that clock is going. And all of a sudden, here comes an error throw. Here comes another error throw. And then guess what happens? It's back-to-back interception time. You know what I mean? Like, that's the game plan to me is, if I'm Heatherman, I'm not throwing 6 at you, because if you get past my 6, I got guys flying all over the place down the field. That's where your QB is dangerous, extends the plays. That's a 3rd and long now caught, right? You know what I mean? Like, I'm going to just play you smart and make you show me what you're going to do first. I want to see what their offense is really made of by going and lining up and seeing what my 4 can do, but I'm utilizing that rotation. I'm going to wear your linemen out, because these 4 ain't what you think, because I really got 12, and I can keep rolling them in each and every down, where you're getting not just Bain hitting you got his backups hitting you with all their force, and here he comes refreshed. Your 5 linemen will get worn out eventually. You know what I mean? Because it's going to be, 100%, 100%, 100%, not we're both getting a little worn out. We're both getting a little worn out. It's nope, I'm right here. And I'm gonna keep hitting you and tearing you down a little bit. I feel like that's gonna be that needs to be Heatherman's bread and butter this game is the rotation of all of our weapons on defense, especially the linebackers. Like I guess, is there any certain position that you're worried about on defense?
I guess linebacker, just because that's where we have the least amount of like big names, and the least amount of like NFL guys. But I feel like our linebackers, even though it's kind of like a no-name group, they've done a good job for the most part. Torre has had his struggles in the open field for sure. We're all aware of that. But aside from that, I thought Popo's done all right. He's had a good year off the bench. Chase Smith has been good. Wes has been good when called upon. They've all kind of done their job. I just need them to bring guys to the ground. I don't think A&M hasn't played a lot of elite D lines. This is going to be one of the best ones they face. So they're going to be getting rid of the ball quickly a lot, because that'll be in an effort to neutralize our D line. But at the same time, then their receivers don't have time to really go out there and do their thing deep in the secondary. Our secondary can kind of come in close. Yeah. And I think our defense, really, most offenses ever since the Louisville game, really offenses has really had to approach us like that. That's one of the reasons we've held people to 14 points a game.
Right.
So it kind of works both ways. So I don't know. I'm feeling a possible big game from our defense. Just make sure you get Concepcion and Craver to the ground.
Correct.
That's going to be the key, obviously. Ruben Owens, very physical runner. Get him to the ground quickly. I believe we're getting David Blay back for this game, right?
Correct.
Yes. And it looks like, hopefully, we're getting Keontae Scott back.
Yeah. If we do, then I'm no longer worried about the linebackers, because I feel like he becomes your third, where I'm good with him going all over the place, right? Then you can really kind of zero in on the same thing. Then you can have I still have Chase Smith in there as my two. You know what I mean? Like you said, those two have probably been the most complete. And I think one of the comments on there, Popo and Pruitt, like I think those are like my guys I'm bringing in on those third and longs, because they can cover a little bit better sideline to sideline. And I'm not taking Torrey out, but I'm definitely not having him in as much. You know what I mean? Like you said, he's been kind of a liability. And honestly, I'm sorry to say it, but those offensive coordinators know when he's in the game. You know what I mean? Like they are just like the year before with going after Mount Noah. Like, just go ahead. If you see him in, go take that running back over here and just make him cover you one-on-one. You know what I mean? It's just, here comes a wheel route. You know what I mean? And it's one of those things where we have to understand where we're at. You know what I mean? Like, these guys are not the ACC guys that we've been playing against. These are, like you said, high-level guys who are going to make you pay for that kind of mismatch. And the same thing we're going to do to them, right? Is you put a weak middle linebacker on Tony, he's going to make you pay. Like you said, we got to be able to balance that back out.
John, I think the big SEC team going to be arrogant enough to think that they can line up and beat us straight up. Yeah. Many have tried, many have failed. We playing an ACC team that didn't play anybody but Notre Dame. Just watch. Yeah. There's probably there's going to be that perception of us, right? Because of the conference we play in.
Right.
I hope they try to play us straight up man for man. I'm hoping for that.
I think they will. Like I said before, like based off of how they sounded, I feel like that's what they're going to try and do. Is I feel like they're going to think that logo is going to intimidate Miami, like a James Madison's going to be intimidated of Oregon. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like that team is feeling themselves, and they're going to be like, ACC. You know what I mean? Like, if no one else in the country thought you guys were shit, then why would we? We're the big bad SEC. I don't know why they always kind of cling on to that SEC thing. Has only been two teams that have dominated that. But hey, if you got to ride coattails, and so be it. But I just feel like they felt themselves a little much this week, and I just don't know if they got kind of the memo. This ain't the same Miami team they played a couple of years ago.
So before I let you go, man, you know what we got to do before we let you go? I got to get a prediction from you. What is your final score prediction for Saturday in round one of the college football playoffs?
Damn, that's tough. If I'm gonna be completely honest with myself, I feel like Miami has to put up numbers in this kind of game. Like I feel like it's got to be a 30+ type game. I still feel like our defense is gonna, be the glue that holds us together. But I'm gonna go a little bit higher than most. I think I'm going 35-24 Miami. I think we win convincingly, but I think the first half is a little scarier and a little closer than we like. And I think in the second half, we get the jitters out, we make our adjustments, and we kind of come out firing like, you know what? What do we got to lose? Throw everything at them. Throw everything you can at them.
I don't know if it's because it's the playoffs. I don't know if it's because how we've been playing lately, but I'm going to swing for the fences on this one. I'm going to say the score that has been in my gut for the past few days. Miami 31, Texas A&M 17.
I would love that. I would absolutely. The amount of noise complaints my neighbors are going to have. Like, John, I have an air siren here, and it's been going off, but I've been having all the doors closed. I already told my wife, everything's opening up. It's supposed to be like 40 degrees here this weekend. And for those who don't know, 40 degrees is hot in in December when it's been -22 last week. Everything's going to be wide open. It's going to be loud. Music will be playing. Bro, if we win that game, when we win that game, I'm sorry, I will be running outside, damn near nude in the snow. Just, I will be feeling nothing but just light. You know what I mean? Like, top 5 best moment of being a Hurricane fan ever. Like, God, that your prediction. I want to go. I want to go over to that prediction now. That's solid, bro.
I have reasons for that prediction. Number one, we've allowed 14 points a game this year. I mean, this would be one of, if not the best offenses we've played all year, but an offense that has a ton of flaws. If you get Texas kind of showed the formula how to beat them. If you make Reed think, if you get him to scramble, make him make throws under duress, he's going to throw it into all kinds of traffic out of desperation. He panics, especially later in the game. Also, my second reason, what Lord Baconton's saying right here, I think we have the trench advantage on both sides. Texas A&M has had a lot of trouble stopping the run. And once we switched up the offense and started mixing up the run and throwing in a little Pringle in there, it's been a lot more effective. Number 3, we've been doing this. They've been doing this. And how often do you see, number one, a team that maybe in any sport that they were like the best team in the league or one of the best teams in the league, they kind of coasted towards the end, they get the first round bye, they win the division, whatever, and they get bounced early. Yeah. Because they weren't playing the same with the same intensity. On the flip side, how many times have you seen a team that's like a wild card team? They've been busting their ass the last 2 weeks of the season just to get in. And all of a sudden, they're one of the most dangerous teams because they're in that mindset already.
Right. Which we've been for a month of playoff mode. Like, which, before we go, did it surprise you that Miami was not all together during the playoff announcement?
I didn't really think of it, to be honest with you. I know a lot of them were like FaceTiming each other.
Yeah, like it threw me off for a second, but I was like, but then like it was funny because like right afterwards they were kind of showing like all of them back, watching film and shit like that. And I was a little worried. And then as soon as that lineman started talking shit, I was like, oh. And then I saw like 3 of their posts. I'm like, okay, we might have had like a little weekend off, you know what I mean? But now that just course corrected by A&M putting up that bulletin board material this quickly off the rip. Like, thank you, A&M, for the mouth, because I felt like that might have been the turning point. You know what I mean? Where, like you said, might have been feeling themselves a little bit much going into that. We made it. Feeling yourselves, hey, we're here, we're we're here, feeling that great high. But then they talked.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that was like, oh, okay. Like the mask is coming back on. You know what I mean? Like, like I feel like that was a turning point for like where I was like, because honestly, I was going back and forth, like with the, like you said, with the bettors going with, the spread being as close as it was.
Mm-hmm.
I just felt like when you start talking, it makes people change. And they did it twice, 2 times.
Yeah. Bane is the wrong guy to try to piss off.
That notebook to me made of blood, bro.
Bro, you're going up against a top 5 pick in the draft. And for good reason. My buddy he actually lives up in Oregon, and I text him sometimes during the games. During the Notre Dame game, let me see if I can scroll back to his text really quick from back then. Hold on one second. Where is he? There he is. Talking about Bane, because this particular friend of mine played offensive line in high school. He's a big boy. So, and knows the game well. What was it that he said about Bane exactly? It was really funny. Where is it? August 31st. Really impressed with the. Sorry, bear with me, guys. I mentioned Bane, and he goes, "That man is a menace. Left tackle looks like he got hit with a damn refrigerator every time he rushes. Every time he bull rushes."
Yeah, dude. Like in the thing too about Bane, like remember in that Florida game where he didn't get a sack and he was like, he took both of his fists and just went straight down to the ground. Like,
yeah.
Did you ever like? I stopped it. Like, did you ever notice that like all the grass where he hit had like a fucking indent? I was like, dude, he hit the shit out of that. But I was like, please don't hurt yourself. But then like the very next play, like he's zeroing in on this guy. Like nothing is phasing him at this moment. Like he feels nothing. Like after that, I started just being like, I feel bad for whatever QB says anything. And everybody was kind of quiet up until this point. Like a Notre Dame Bane is what I feel like is coming, where it's I'm going to rip your head off. Like, and now you got that game with Notre Dame. Remember, him and Messi were still trying to figure out their chemistry together, right?
Yeah.
You got the D linemen still trying to figure out your chemistry. Bro, they have their chemistry now. And now they're all pissed. And now they know they can trust that secondary. That D line group is fucking scarier than they were in that Notre Dame game. And that Notre Dame team, as much as they want to talk shit about the metrics, none of them ever came out and said, well, we should have beat Miami. You didn't hear that shit one time. You never heard them say, well, line it up and let's do it again. That shit didn't come out of their mouth. It was, look at the metrics. look at the 10 other teams we beat. It was never, hey, tell Miami let's line it up again. You know what I mean? Like they don't want nothing to fucking do with that. We'll go play James Madison. Like they don't want anything to do with Miami. They wanted everything to get away from that. Like you said, they were getting pounced on, hit, and just manhandled. And I feel like that's coming.
They were getting punched in the mouth for sure. And we didn't have this offense to go with it, so couldn't pull away.
Right.
When we, and it was raining, that didn't help.
Right.
Dry football, this offense, yeah. All the Notre Dame fans that were talking all that shit at the end of the year, it's like, let's line it up again. Because like you didn't face this offense last time.
Right. Well, we can pin back and we're not slipping and sliding, and that's why you got 14 points in the first.
And that's why it was such a tight, close game at the end.
Right. Like we slipped past you 3 times. Like but like you said, like I feel like the chemistry was there now and you're trending up. And now you pissed off not just one player on that team, but you pissed off the entire roster. I really like your score prediction because I do feel like it's 17, but I don't know if it's 17. I feel like it's going to come at like weird times, but I feel like it could easily be that domination by Miami because I feel like they've learned their lesson too, right? Like, oh, we let this team back in it. We let this team back in it. We let you hang around. We let them hang around. They beat us. No more of that. You guys talk shit about our coach. You guys talk shit about us. You guys, you know what? Cool. we will never let it up.
Everything's clicking at the right time. The right guys are getting healthy at the right time. It's all kind of lining up perfectly. And the weather's going to be perfect.
Yeah.
I mean, everything's kind of lining up for us if you really pay attention.
11 o'clock, too.
Yeah.
In the most dangerous places.
Anthony's saying, he was saying before his prediction is Miami 27, Texas A&M 23, winning on a last-second field goal. That his reason was Miami has struggled with SEC teams in general, no matter who the coach is. I mean, if you go back far enough, yeah, but recently, I mean, we've played Florida twice, beaten their ass twice, played Texas A&M twice, played them really tight with a roster that should not have been on the field with that team, but they kept it close. And in 2023, kicked their ass.
Right.
So I disagree with you in the last 2 to 3 years, Anthony. I think we're going to be just fine. Just do not turn the ball over. If you just continue to do what you're doing on offense, ultimately the difference is our defense is one of the better defenses, if not one of the best defenses in college football. Dare I say, a great defense, and their defense very average. I think that's going to end up being the difference in the game. And defense travels, as we know. All right. So, AO, you guys coming on this week?
Yep. We will be on tomorrow, 7 p.m. Eastern, and then we will be doing the pregame show. I think Lex is going to be there, so we'll be trying to do it from the tailgate there. I think he said he was going to be kind of moving around last minute there, but me and A Black will be doing the tailgate, drinking, and I'll have a nice little concoction for everybody to come up with and have a little pregame party. I mean, it's never too early for Bloody Mary mornings for A&M game. So, hey,
of course,
why not?
Of course. All right. Thank you guys for being on. We got 53 in the chat right now. So thank you. Please hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Go catch, obviously, Miami Mayhem every week. And yeah, AO, thank you for coming on and talking some Canes with me. Hopefully, I will be back on next Tuesday in a great mood because we'll be preparing for Ohio State. And one more thing I just remembered before I go. Flo back on Sunday mentioned that he will be at the Miller Ale House in Coral Gables, he said, but it's not Coral Gables, that one. There was a Coral Gables location before it closed. He meant the one here in Palmetto Bay that's right by me. It's across the street from the Falls on US 1 and Southwest 136th Street, right across the street from the Falls. GPS it, you can't miss it. All right. Thank you, guys. Take care. Go Canes. Let's kick Texas A&M's ass.